Welcome back to a brand new live stream on the channel. Hope you're all having a good day. Jobin, my friend, good to see you. Merkel, Beam, A, good to see you as well. Omar, Shadow, Lavar, Delario, Izzy, good to see everyone in the chat. Sal, good to see you as well, bro. How is everyone doing today? Bitcoin at the moment. Let me open up my trading view 1 second. Let's see. Where's my trading view? Bitcoin is consolidating at this specific region. There's a bunch of liquidity sitting around 100k, 102k, and there's a bunch of liquidity sitting at 110 to 108, which means Bitcoin has to decide which way it wants to go. And my guess is that it will most likely go higher and put in a new all-time high. And the reason is very, very simple. We do have PPI data coming out tomorrow, which means at the moment investors are hedging themselves or they're just sitting back and waiting, and they're going to decide on the news tomorrow in which direction they're going to bring Bitcoin. So let me see, where is it? So we have PPI month over month. We got core PPI month over month. If this comes in somewhat weak, then what it means for the market is it incentivizes the Fed to actually cut more rates. But PPI is forecasted to come in lower than expected, which is good because the lower inflation goes, the better it is for the markets. And if we see retail confidence going down, then ultimately the Fed will have to do something about that. And you're going to see a massive repricing in the Fed watch in terms of what rate cuts we get for the next couple of months. It all depends on the data. Last week, in March, it was more or less guaranteed to have a rate cut in June. But as we started pumping, as Donald Trump started to make more and more deals, guess what happened? It's just reversed. Now the market is not expecting a rate cut, till like September times. September they're expecting a rate cut. Maybe 50 basis points, maybe 25 basis points. We don't know. In July, there's only a 30% chance that it's going to be a rate cut. But you guys got to keep in mind, we don't need rate cuts specifically. And it's very, very easy to understand this because in 2023 and 24, we did not have rate cuts. We did not have anything. All we had was steady data. Inflation was steady. Unemployment was steady. And we just had some bullish catalysts that pushed us up. And I think the exact same thing will happen this time around. If we get QT ending in the next couple of months, that will obviously fuel the pump. But it doesn't look like, if the economy is doing okay and there is liquidity in the markets, then the Fed has no incentive to actually end QT. But we don't really need it. The stock market is near the all-time highs. You guys can see for yourself, it's way above its 200-day moving average, which is a very, very good sign for us that stock market most likely will reach the all-time highs and go higher. The Nasdaq's doing very well. The stock market is doing well. Bitcoin is doing pretty well as well. And I do think over the next couple of weeks, I think we'll have a new all-time high. And after the all-time high hits, because this is what's been happening over the last couple of weeks, all the bears got caught out here because, and I always tell people this, don't try to time the bottom. You have to DCA down, right? What the bears were doing, even though we was at 74, 73K region, they were expecting the 50 to 60K region. This is what they were waiting for. And guess what happened? It never went there. We put in a double bottom and then we just started rallying. Now those exact same people they kind of in shambles deciding, are they going to enter the market and miss the boat? So FOMO is going to kick in. And I think what most likely will happen is we will put in a new all-time high, maybe 112, 113, 115 region. And all those guys are going to FOMO in. The guys that sat around here calling for 50K, 60K, those guys are going to FOMO back in. And then Bitcoin is going to retrace back down. And then those exact same guys are going to probably sell their bags, panic sell again because they think, oh, I was right. It's going to come back down to the 50, 60K region, whatever bullshit the bears come up with. And then we're just going to start blasting off again. And this is how the market catches everyone off by surprise. When everyone expected Bitcoin to go into a bear market, when they expected to go back in this region, this would have been the bear market region because it took us 9 months to come out of this consolidation form. If we went back into it, sentiment would have been lost. And I don't think we would have had the buy pressure coming in at the current time, for us to come out of this. And this is what the bears wanted. The bears are stupid. That would have been the end of the bull run. It would have been a left translated cycle, and off we go. Back into a bear market. But I told people, DCA, keep DCAing, because all it takes is 2 weeks of bullish price action to take out 2-3 months of bearish price action. That's exactly what happened. Bricken took out, in the space of, I think it's been about a week and a half now, 2 weeks. Bricken took out 3 months of bearish price action in like less than a week. This is how, since March, let's go back a bit more. Since February, this was actually around 20-25 cents. February was very bearish. In the space of 1 week, he's gone past this region. It's almost at the 40-day region at the January prices. And this is why the concept of DCA always plays out if you can exercise some patience. In literally in a space of less than 1 week, I think it's been less than 1 week since Bricken has been pumping. In that 1 week, it took out 3 months of bearish price action. That's how quick the market sentiment can shift. And that's why a lot of people, when price goes down, they call it a scam. They say the project is terrible. And then they just FOMO back in up here. Like, you've just missed a significant portion of that pump. This is up 3x from the lows now. You've just missed if this goes on to do another 10x now, the people that were smart and DCA down here, they're going to get a 30x. The people that's buying now, they're only going to get a 10x because they were too scared to buy here. That's the significant difference. And this is why DCA always plays out in the grand scheme of things. Because as soon as the market flips bullish, everyone FOMOs in and everything just shoots back up. So you have to be very careful. Just like the guy yesterday we were talking about. I hope he's not in the chat, but prime example of people like that. You have to be very careful. Don't base a project based on price action. You have to base it on development. Bricken has been non-stop developing, and the price action catches up. The exact same thing is going to happen across all our projects. Look at LogX today. LogX was dead for a while, and he just pumped a decent amount today. It's up. Let me see. Yeah, it's up 80% today, the last 14 days. That's how quick sentiment can shift. Give it a couple of weeks. I guarantee you this will probably be back around 3-4 cents very fast. And that's because they're consistently updating. They've just added a new governance, or like a DAO vote. Anyone who stakes the tokens gets meme drops. That gives people the incentive to hold the token. That's token utility 101. People will now go and buy the token, stake it, and then they will get some sort of meme coin airdrops, which people love that type of stuff. And that's what OORT is doing as well recently. They're having this staking on the data hub, and you get airdrops on there as well. Yeah, boys, smash the like button. It's good to see everyone in the chat. Delario, good to see you, buddy. Declan, good to see you as well. Let's have a look. Bought some more OTK. Very, very smart. Bearish hair were cooked. I'm going to trim very soon, bro. Don't worry. Bought some more OTK. Look, this the exact same thing that happened with Immunity. I think the exact same thing will happen to OTK. It's just that OTK at the moment is in that phase of, of the ST on KuCoin, which obviously no one really likes any delisting. And I don't think it will get delisted. I think they've already spoken to the KuCoin team. They were actually at the event in token 409 or whatever the fuck it's called. And they were at the KuCoin building in Dubai. So once that's done and once it's removed, I do think this will blast back up. So those people that's holding it, don't think just because this isn't pumping now that it's not going to pump in the future. Just wait until the gaming run comes back. It's all based on narratives, not individual coins. Across the last year and a half, not a single gaming project has been performing well, and I don't think they will for a very long time. For at least another couple of months. I think gaming, once it really picks up, everything is like down 99%. So you could pretty much buy anything and you'll still make very good money. So it's all about narrative rather than individual coins. And once gaming comes back, OTK will perform regardless. Do I think a 10x is easily in for Polytrade, or rather go with OORT or Relio for a safe 10x, in my opinion? Polytrade, I have not been keeping track of the development. So if you want to look at the development and if they are still developing, then yes, this probably could do a 10x from this point on. I mean, a 10x would be 90 million in market cap. I don't know how the dilution is. I would imagine been around for such a long time that the dilution would have been mostly in, but just over 2x dilution, so it's not that bad. But I do think at some point, um, polytrade will pick up. Yes, I do think it will. I think tokenization is going to be massive. If you guys caught wind of the news today, JP Morgan Chase settled first public transaction of tokenized treasuries, and they done this on Chainlink and on Ondo. And this is why Ondo had a very good spike today. Hold on, I got Ondo on my trading view. Where is it? There it is. Yeah, Ondo had a pretty big spike. Got rejected off the 200-day moving average, exactly off the 200-day moving average. This is why these indicators are so important on TradingView, because there's once it gets above the 200-day moving average, it's just gonna start flying back up. So it will to the one. A lot of these coins move. You see the high cap specifically, and when you see dominance is looking bearish. I do once dominance falls below 62%. I think it will just come down really fast, and then we can have another good rally, something like this. We're kind of at the starting phase, so we're like somewhere down here. Once it gets down here, sentiment starts to shift. You're going to see your altcoins start flying a lot faster than what they are currently. So that's something you guys to look forward to 100%. But to answer your question, if you want a safer 10x, I'd rather just go with real. This is 9 million market cap, right? 9 million market cap. Real is 24. For this to do a 10x, it will be 240 million. If you want an even easier 10x, just go for prop base. Prop base, I think, is a lot easier 10x than polytrade. Like if just this has token based unlocks, performance based unlocks. But one thing that I don't think I don't know if I said it or not, but these guys, prop base has a top 5 exchange listing coming very soon. Within the next couple of weeks, this will be on a top 5 exchange. And this was, I think, in the Telegram, the team member mentioned it. It's in the top 5, so it probably will be something like a KuCoin or Bybit, some sort of tier 2 exchange. Maybe like an OKX or something. So once that happens, the volume's going to increase. Obviously, the token's going to pump. But these guys have been developing, and they have very, very positive updates. They have a new property listing. They have the USDC integration, which has already happened now. And soon they're going to have, what was it again? Sorry. They're going to have Ethereum chain as well. So they're going to be expanding to the Ethereum chain. And people like tokenized assets on the Ethereum chain for some reason, because there's a lot more security there. So that's very positive from the AMA. We just have to see. I think once the exchange listing hits for prop base, I think it will start moving. But even if prop base is a little bit of a slow mover, that's why I got ATR. That's why I got Bricken, and that's why I got Relio, because they're very fast movers. This is more like a slower mover, but you're gonna see this explode randomly during the RWA season. I mean, just look what he did last time. It went from 2 cents to like 25 cents, over 10x in the space of a few months. So yeah, this is it's a slow mover. It will move slowly, and then it will just explode up. 570, good to see you, bro. Do I think Sensei hits? I think Sensei will hit 0.05 a lot faster than people think. If you look at the TA, it's in this this little triangle formation, and it's just waiting to break out. And I think once it does break out, there's not a lot of resistance till about, let's have a look. So we're up here somewhere. There's not a lot of resistance to about 4 to 5, 0.04 to 0.05. There's not a lot of resistance. The next move will be explosive. So yes, I think it will happen within the next. I think it could happen within the next couple of weeks. They have, where is it? They have a town hall meeting. Well, not a town hall, but you can say like one of those big meetings they do like once every, couple of months to showcase all the recent developments. So on that meeting, I think it will most likely start to pick up. So you guys make sure to tune into this. I have an AMA with them literally in a few days, on Friday. So, we're probably going to see some stuff leaked on there as well. So all the developments they've done recently, you guys will decide for yourself, if you want to buy a bit more or not. Brian, good to see you. Yeah, I mean, look, it was not easy keeping people still in the markets during these periods. It was not easy. It was a very difficult thing. In the private group, I think 5 people capitulated, and fuck them. They capitulated, they left. I told them, just wait a couple of months. Like, are you that much of a pussy to wait a couple of months? Your bags are already down. More, half of the stuff would break even, half of the stuff was in profits, and there was a few coins that were down. So why would you then capitulate when, if you could just wait a couple of months, shit's just gonna go back up. Nothing goes down forever, and nothing goes up forever. We was a consistent down phase for 4 months. You're gonna get at least 1 or 2 months of bullish price action. If you're not much of a pussy to wait, for a couple of months, couple more months, then some people just don't deserve to make money in this space. It's not an easy space to be in. If you're an emotional person, crypto's not the right place for you. Savage, good to see you, brother. Dyson, good to see you. Lord, good to see you as well. Pip, good to see you, my friend. Crypto, good to see you, my friend. How you doing? Real crypto. Let me see. Jamie, good to see you, bro. How you been? Tempted to grab a bit more NAI. I actually DCA some NAI today as well, just because it's come down a decent amount, and they have their testnet and mainnet dropping very soon. So these guys have a very unique product, and I think once their testnet is out and once their mainnet is out, I would definitely think this would pump. And I think once their testnet and mainnet is done, they can focus more on marketing and exchange listings. They are looking for exchanges and they are looking for marketing. These guys have a lot of shillers on Twitter. So when the market gets really bullish, there's going to be at least 10 to 20 KOLs pushing this. So I'm not too worried about that. There's always some massive KOL with like 500,000 followers pushing this. Hi guys, do you know why the reason pumped last time, or do you think it was... No, look, the reason alt pumped to 25 cents last year in November was simply because AI agents were going parabolic. For that exact same reason, alt has very good AI agents, but they just don't advertise the AI agents because they're more deep in an AI rather than specifically AI agents. But they do have an AI agent side. So, this is why I say you hold a token, you don't have to worry about if it's going to pump or not, because they all pump. This is what people do, and I used to do this as well. People literally go on CoinGecko, they go on categories, they go on AI agents, and they look for something that hasn't pumped, and they plow money into it, and then everything just pumps. That's how easy it is. You just have to be patient to wait for that narrative to take off. That's why you only get into the best narratives. So what people were doing, right? They'll go to the launchpad. At that point, there wasn't as many AI agents as there is now, but there was AI agents. Or was somewhere. Look, there's all. So people would just look for something that has not pumped yet, and then they would just plow money into it. The exact same thing going to happen to all the narratives, and that's why I say, and look for coins with more than one narrative. And then why do I like OORT? Because it doesn't just do storage, it doesn't just do GPUs. It does all like 4 different things. So you'll pump with all 4 narratives. That's why you don't have to be concerned that it's not pumping in the short term, because as soon as we get into a narrative, it will start pumping with that narrative. So yes, it's a bit slow mover, but who gives a shit? You have 10 other coins that's pumping, and one's a bit slow. It doesn't matter. It's not like it's not pumping. It's up 26%. It's not crazy, but at least it's not fucking doing fuck all. But yeah, but they are going to be ramping. They have a town hall meeting tomorrow, which I think is going to be quite interesting, because all the stuff they've been developing for the last couple of months, they're going to be talking about them. And then I'm going to be there asking them some questions, maybe ask them about the Solana foundation. I mean, the Solana bridge, and then some other stuff. So you guys definitely should tune into that AMA tomorrow. They've also Cointelegraph spotlights OORT Data Hub, as the decentralized fund page on the Kaggle. Kaggle is basically Google's biggest AI market or data market. So, that's pretty massive. Getting on Kaggle and being on the first page is a big achievement. Stuff like this goes unnoticed. That's the issue. Like I said, my friend, it's mainly narratives. The current narrative, it looks like, is going to be fucking RWAs. The way, a lot of this token and stuff is happening slowly. Fumalas, yeah, Natix is pretty good as well. I think Natix is a good project. I have all three. I'll just have all three. I don't think you should have, just one of them. I should have all three. They're all gonna move really well. The only one, the thing is, like, you can say it's hard to say it now, just based on the fact that ATR is up over 2.5x from the lows, and Bricken is up like 3x from the lows. The only one that's only up probably about 2x ish is literally prop base. So the only one I would say that makes sense to buy now is prop base. The only one that makes sense. Like, I don't want you guys to FOMO in. Hold on, what the fuck? Can we go charging? There it is. Sorry guys, my laptop's gonna go charge again, bro. Fuck it on. No, I don't want you guys to FOMO into projects that's already up 3x. You want to be buying stuff that has not pumped, and this has not pumped yet, but has massive potentials. Would that big listing come in within the next couple of weeks? So, I would rather buy prop base from this current moment on. I wouldn't be buying Bricken. I wouldn't be buying ATR. Bricken's up at the top. You just be FOMOing at the top, and if he pulls back, you're gonna be down on your investment. Whereas prop base has not moved as much as ATR and Bricken has yet, but it will move at some point. Very, very likely. Agree, good to see you, buddy. Excuse me, what the fuck? So many lives. I feel like you're my neighbor. Have so much lives. I appreciate you, BB King, bro. I'm gonna be blasting lives again, bro, because the channel needs to grow. So if I can't just be, to be fair, I have been a bit lazy. I used to be going live every single day, like literally every day. I would be live in 2024. It was markets were more fun because, but at the moment the market is starting to get more interesting again as well. A bunch of people shilling Sensei We Will Moon. Yeah, but we had House of Crypto shilling it. We had Superman shilling it. We have a bunch of Twitter shillers talking about it. Dan knows what he's doing. He's gonna pump it at the right time. Trust me. They sell. Appreciate that, bro. They sell low, buy high. Yeah, 100%, bro. If my average Bricken price is just above the current price, would it be best to sell my position and go all in prop base as my only RWA coin? Let me see what Bricken's price. If your Bricken average is this high, then I would say it's not a bad move to sell some Bricken. Like maybe take 50% of your Bricken out and then move that 50% into prop base. That's what I would do if it's just above. But I don't really see Bricken pulling back more, lower than 30 cents, just because of all the bullish stuff they have coming. Like, I'm not allowed to leak the announcement, the partnership, but once they leak it and once they make it public, you guys will understand why I've been so bullish on Bricken. So I would only sell 50% because the last time they had the massive news is when they partnered with BNB Chain to be the main tokenizer for BNB, which means this time, and from that news alone, it pumped from 20, 30 cents all the way to 60. So, the exact same thing could happen again. Maybe this time we'll go to 70 to $1 because tokenization is becoming a lot bigger than it was previously. So what I would do is I would only sell half, my friend, and then move half into Bricken, because you don't want to be selling your full position. Bricken can go a lot higher. It can probably go to like $2 to $3 at the peak of the bull run. I see this doing at least I would say at least 300 million market cap at least. Shinobi, well gone, bro. How you been? What are the coins to hold for next cycle? I wouldn't hold anything for next cycle, my friend. You don't want to be holding anything. If you have Sui, I would consider holding Sui into the next cycle. I would you don't keep the whole bag. You keep a moon bag. You have to take profits, leave a moon bag. I will most likely keep some OORT for the next cycle, but you got to keep in mind, once the bear market hits, a lot of these coins are going to go down 90%, 99%. So it's not smart to really hold anything unless it's moon bags. That's it. Nothing past moon bags should be held into a bear market, because they might be strong now. If December, the last 4 months has not been an indicator for you, that it doesn't matter how strong these coins are, nothing is bigger than the market. When Bitcoin starts going down 70%, you best believe your altcoins will go down 99% minimum. Some of them go down 99.9%. And then they're just, you can put in $500, you can make 100x off it. That's what I did with Via. I chucked in a few grand and it done like almost 100x. So, and Via was down 99.9% from the highs. So it made sense to chuck in a bit of money into it for the AI narrative. It's more narrative based than anything else. Like in the next cycle, in the bear market, look for what's going to be a narrative in the next year or two. Maybe metaverse comebacks, maybe quantum computing becomes a narrative, or maybe just stick to AI and deepin. Maybe deepin becomes bigger than it is now. So you have to look at articles, read a lot of articles during the bear market. Look at what people are talking about. Look where smart money is invested into. During the last bear market, smart money was invested into AI. AI was becoming a bit more prominent. If you go read articles on AI, which means people are starting to look into AI. So then what you do is you position yourself in the bear market when no one gives a shit about crypto, everything's pennies on the dollar, and then when people come back into the markets, they'll be pumping your bags and you can use them as exit liquidity. Mugen, my friend, very good to see you. I don't think that's a bad idea. Nye double under 5. What the fuck? $1 for Nye. I don't know about that one, my friend. That's a bit crazy though. Look, this is how you become a bag holder, bro. Do not predict $1. That's like 300x. That's not gonna happen. Get like a 10, 20x on Nye, and that's more than enough, bro. Why would you? Well, 50 cents to $1 is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. That's like 150x for 50 cents. 600 for $1. It's not gonna happen, bro. You're gonna become a bag holder. Or an eye for more X's. You can go heavier in OORT because there's more liquidity and they're gonna get more exchange listings. But I would only put a small amount in Nye just based on liquidity. I mean, the volume is not the best, and unless they get more exchange listings, I wouldn't go too heavy into Nye, my friend. But they are gonna get more exchange listings, so I would rather pick OORT just because it hasn't pumped as much. I mean, Nye, even though it's down a bit, it's still up 40% on the 30-day chart, whereas OORT is only up 27. So, and that's after it had like a 50% pullback. Most of us want to exit the market in August, but I'm feeling uncertain. There is enough time for us to recover and do solid exits. Even the rate cuts does not. Rate cuts, you don't really need rate cuts, my friend. Once the narrative takes off, they're all gonna pump. It doesn't matter. There's not gonna be a lot of dilution. Most of our coins don't have dilution. So, and there's not going to be really anyone to dump on you. You're going to be dumping on people that's going to be pumping your bags. So, look, as long as inflation is not going up and as long as unemployment is not going up, even if unemployment goes up, the market likes that anyways. So we are pretty much in the perfect setup. The only thing that scares investors is when inflation goes up, but we are in a deflationary trend for at least for the next 3-4 months. So you don't have to worry about inflation going up. Inflation is only going to come down to the point where it's going to be below 2%, according to true inflation, and the Fed will have no choice but to cut rates. Look, don't look at this now because this will change every week. 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, this was almost guaranteed a rate cut in June. Now it's guaranteed no rate cuts in June. This will change according to the data that comes out. The only reason this is not going to be cutting rates is very, very simple. It's because unemployment is strong and inflation is coming down, so the Fed has no incentive. At the same time, we have the bond market, going up. Normally, this normally comes down when bonds are going. I mean, when the stocks are going up. But what we're seeing now is having bonds go up and we have stocks go up. And the reason this continuously goes up is because everyone's going into the yen and they're going into the eurozone because there's more yield there. So people are demanding higher yields on the 10-year before they lock it in. Well, I don't know. Maybe they want 4.8%. Maybe they want 5%. We don't know. But no one's getting into these bonds, and that's why it keeps going higher because they want more yield. Everyone is going into the yen, and this is why Trump wants the interest rates lower, because as interest rates go down, it becomes cheaper to borrow money. At the moment, it's too expensive. Interest rates are too high. for people to borrow money. So they plow into the Eurozone. Eurozone is continuously cutting their rates. Japan rates are low and they get more yield. So it only makes sense for them to go there. That's what smart investors do. And that's why this is only going to go up until some interest rates are cut. So this is the Fed is in a sticky situation because of this 10-year bond, and this is what Trump has caused. But they have to cut anyways. They well behind the curve. They don't have a choice to cut. And like I said, the Fed watch stuff will change every week. If tomorrow's data comes in that retail, confidence is a lot lower, which means they're not spending, which means we're having a contraction in the economy, which we kind of already are. I mean, look at GDP came in minus 0.3%, and that will show tomorrow on the data on the retail sales. I think that's going to look, it's already coming down minus 0.1%. This shows a contraction in the economy, less retail confidence. And if PPI is coming down as well, core PPI is coming down, which is forecasted to come in at 3.1, Fed doesn't have any choice but to cut rates. I guarantee you the Fed watch thing, the next time we come on live stream, is going to be significantly different to what it is today, depending on the data tomorrow. So don't be worried about rate cuts not happening. That data will change very quickly based on one data point. What's the dilution of looking for Bricken and prop base? I've just talked about it, Izzy. So prop base, they've extended the unlocks to 8 years now with performance-based unlocks. So the team and early investors will only unlock their tokens if the token is performing. If the token's stagnant and is not doing shit, they simply will not unlock their tokens. That's why prop base is a very strong token. And I like this update. Bricken, all the early investors are out. Everything else, if you guys watch the AMA that I did with him, he said the rest of the tokens for the team and the ecosystem and the treasuries, but they don't get their tokens till 2026. So all the early investors are out. There's around 10 to 15% of the Bricken token lost somewhere, according to the CEO. But there's no unlock for Bricken until 2026 because the next unlock is only the team and the treasuries, which makes up like most of the supply. So, like I said, up until 2026 for Bricken, there is no unlocks. All the early investors unlocked like 2 months ago, so they've already fucked off and sold. The only people that the only time you can see unlocks is in next year, which we're not going to give a fuck about because we're not going to be in the markets next year. Yeah. So the dilution for both of them is phenomenal. Is liquidity front running BTC around? Bro, that's just bullshit, bro. Look, how can fucking liquidity front run BTC? It doesn't make sense. Is liquidity front running BTC by 100 days? M2 delayed 140. The Ben Cowen says, "What's your?" Well, Ben Cowen is a permanent bear. Liquidity, Bitcoin cannot front run liquidity. BTC needs liquidity to pump. If the liquidity is getting out of the markets, how the fuck is Bitcoin going to front run liquidity? It does not make sense. It's just bullshit. It's just like a random analysis he threw out, like a random thesis, because he's just a perma bear and he just says anything, pretty much anything, to match his thesis. And his thesis is to be bearish. And I think he's going to get left behind. People don't realize if you was following Ben Cowen through 2022, 2023, and 2024, like let's say first half of 2024, you would have been raped. You would have just sat on your fucking USDT while everything pumped 50 to 100x. You have to be very careful who you listen to. Ben Cowen is going to be a perma bear till QT ends. But what people don't realize is, and people that follow him, is especially people that watch low caps and your degens, by the time QT ends, most of your altcoins are already going to be up 5 to 6x. So you're going to be joining the market late. This is why he did the last cycle. He got to Chainlink after it was already up like 10x. And he was like, "Oh, I'm surprised Chainlink didn't pump as much." Yeah, because motherfucker, you got in when it was already up 10x. And this is what he does. He gets in too late and he expects these altcoins to still do really good numbers. When everyone's already front run everything, the GG's already front run and pumped to 10x. And then now he's entered and he only pumps like 5x for him. Whereas the DGen's got 50x. So that's the difference. You have to be careful not to get caught up in the Ben Cowen trap. A lot of people I know, a few people I know, got caught up in the 2023, 2024 cycle, listened to Ben Cowan and they've missed hundreds of X's. It plays out for him because he got into fucking BTC in 2016, 2015 times. So he can just, it doesn't matter for him. For you, it matters because you're degen investors and you want to make money. He's already made his millions. He's got plenty of USD, of BTC over the years, which is probably up 100x for him pretty much, damn near pretty much, So you can't listen to those type of people because they're going to be perma bears. They don't mind waiting 5 months. He might come back in the bear market and say, yeah, I told you so. But you just missed the whole pump. And he'll class it as a normal cycle. He might actually say this is a short-term bear market, and then he might actually extend his thesis to 2026. So I wouldn't listen to that guy too much, my friend. You're gonna get caught out because everything's looking more bullish than bearish. And if you listen to him now, you might just get fucked. Agreed. Goodbyes, RWA. Khalid, my friend. Get into OORT, get into NAI. They have not pumped as much. There's a bunch of other AI agent coins I'm trading, like Game on Virtuals. There's a bunch of coins I trade, but I'm not going to put my trade on here because I think it's a bit degenerate to, because if I tell people to buy a coin, 9 times out of 10, people that watch my stream, they're just going to go and plow money into it. And I'm just going to be pumping my own bags on trades. My long-term bags, I hold them regardless. Even if they pump 2-3x in the short term, I'm not selling them for 2 to 3x. But on trades, there's a bunch of AI coins I trade. In the private group, I have a legit section for Solana, Virtual, and all these degen coins. In the last month, that section alone made probably like close to 70, 80x in that 1 month on pre-sales, on getting on narrative, the Solana narrative, the AI agent narratives. And then I got the trade section, which I got a very good TA guy giving regular trades. And most of the time we win. There's a few times where our stop loss get hit, but if you win the majority of the time and you take a few 10, 15 USDT hits, who gives a shit? Makes no difference, right? And then we've got the normal general section. So right now, I can only give you the coins that have not pumped yet. But if you're looking for trades, then I can probably give you guys some trades, if the ones that I'm holding for trades at least. Don't see KIP on your spreadsheet. Any thoughts? KIP. I've not done, to be honest with you, I've not done enough research into KIP. The only thing I know about KIP, and one of the reasons I just didn't give a fuck looking into it further, was very simply put, because during that time, when the Argentina meme coin launched, the CEO or the Twitter page of KIP reposted it because they were somehow involved in that shit. I don't know how. And then when that rugged, they tried to play it off as if they didn't repost it. So since that day, just never looked into it. I never give a shit about it because it's just, if a project's doing scammy shit randomly, then I'm not gonna waste my time looking into it. But if they survive and if they're still around, then once Deepin wakes up, and I know this is a Deepin coin, once Deepin wakes up, it's very likely it'll probably pump. But I'm not a fan of this project just based on the fact that of the dodgy shit they done when they launched. I mean, look what happened. It pumped, and then when the Argentina shit happened, it just dumped and just continued to dump nonstop. I mean, this was mainly because of the market as well, but the Argentina thing did not help it at all. But as long as they survive, and if they're still developing, then when Deepin comes around, they all pump. So it's not going to really matter too much. But yeah, it's not like fundamentally it's a good project. But like I said, the Argentina thing really fucked the sentiment, the momentum behind this project. Well, I've just given every fucking RWA coin, and this guy's well. What's my yo Khalid America? That's funny, fam. Fake Khalid. What's my top 5 narrative? So the number 1 narrative is AI. But in AI, we have sub-narratives. So you can have AI agents, you can have LLMs, you will have some sort of image generation, those type of things, right? So we have the sub-narratives in AI, and then we have sub-narratives in AI agents as well. So you have to keep that in mind. So AI is always going to be first. Deepin will pump alongside AI, in my opinion. I think Deepin has been undervalued for at least a year and a half now. So I think Deepin will wake up this year. And RWA. Those are my top 3 narratives, and gaming as the fourth. I do think gaming will pump this year as well, because the money will flow into all of them as long as we can have a decent amount. Like if we can get 4 months of pump, gaming will pump as well for sure, because the money, people don't want to be stuck in one place. The money will flow around this crypto space. That's how it's always been. Every single cycle, the money will flow around to different narratives. Nyan, goodbye. Gaming bar best. Look, the best thing for Nyan is one of those projects that was actually pretty good to hold for, like, if last year was bullish, but the only issue with Nyan is, and it's not a massive issue, but it is an issue, is the unlocks are going to be starting in 6 days. So I want to see how the unlocks actually affect the project. But like I said, if you was holding this, for, let's say, the first year, there's no unlocks, but now the unlocks are going to start. I just don't know how well this is going to do. It looks like these guys are down. If the IEOs are down 95% on the investment, then the likely chances of these guys, they're going to be down as well. And Solana Ventures actually backs them. It's quite, so I didn't even know that. But yeah, I think it will do well though overall. I think, look, people don't realize, right? All these VCs that's plowing money into this, they're going to get this pumped and then use retail as exit liquidity at some point. So yeah, Nyan's very good overall. When we expecting cycle top, that's hard to say, but I would say between August to September is the latest. Are we going to have a second round of pump, towards November, December? I don't know, but August, I would say the latest. I think September, November could be a bit dead, and then November, December, everything could pick up one last time. I don't know, but I'm not holding past September, but that's too much. I think you're going to get too greedy if you do that. How much would you keep behind for Moonbag? I normally keep between 10 to 15%. That's how much I keep. If I see a project, that has multiple narratives and that narrative has not pumped yet, I'll leave more Moonbag, because it will pump on that narrative as well. That's what I would do. Something like layer 1 will probably pump throughout the cycle. Small pullback in July, assuming not considering global liquidity is rising, China printing money, matter of time before US starts. I'm curious your thoughts, brother. It's possible, yes. I think, look, my thesis is we're going to have, and I explained it at the start of the video live stream, so you can just zoom back if you want. New all-time high, dump, and then blast off. That's what my thesis is. You're obviously going to have little dumps along the way, but nothing crazy though. Is it weird that I'm super excited for the bear market with our group? It's going to be so epic with our community gem hunters. Yeah, but we got some solid people in the group, but I'll be honest. Solid TA guys, solid gem hunters. I think my community is one of the best by far. Like, we make money in all sectors. And it's a small community. And that's why I kept it small, because when it gets too many people, too many headaches, too much arguing, too much bitching. I kicked over 150 people the last couple of months, like over 100 people, because it's like, bro, if the market is dead and you're bitching, you have no room for this space. I told people, like, when you invest in the DGen space, your bags are going to go down 30, 40, 50% at times. You have to be able to stomach it. If you can't do it, then you're not made for this game. Just go play the high cap game. It's not hard. But then again, even the high caps were down 60, 70% back then. So, but even then, the high caps obviously held up better than the low caps. But you cannot play the DGen game and then act like a pussy when the market goes down. Just go get high caps, get Bitcoin, get some decent high caps, and just stick to those. There's no point crying when you get DGen coins and they go down when the market gets really bearish. What do you expect? Appreciate you too, me, bro. Good to see you as well. Smash the like, guys. Let's get to 100 likes. Should be easy. I'd appreciate that loads. First, gotta focus on the rest of the cycle. Whoever not in the group, join in the bear. It will be life changing. Yeah, the bear market is gonna be fun though. People don't realize, right? A lot of YouTubers come on stream. Like, I do it for clickbait, obviously, to get more views, to get more subs, right? But the reality is, the chance of you getting 100x, a 50x, a 60x, 70x now is like minimal. The time for you to make those 50, 100, 200 X's is in the bear market when you get everything pennies on the dollar. Like everything goes down 99.9%. And when like when people like Ben Cowan say your altcoin can go down another 99%, he's not lying. It will go down 99% and it can still go down another 99% on top of that. And that's what happened to a lot of coins in 2022. And you can get them pennies on the dollar. And then when the market flips, you can make stupid amounts of money very quickly because they're down so much. But you have to be careful as well. And this is what people don't realize is a lot of those coins are just fundamentally dead. They're just dead. They'll post on Twitter some bullshit here and there, and people think they're alive. But the reality is, if there's no developing, the project is dead. And this is 2022 was very difficult cycle because anyone that was doing YouTube back then called like 50 different rug pulls because obviously it was just good at that time. And some stuff are good in that year does not mean it's going to continue to be good throughout the cycle. There were so many shit coins in 2022 that was good, that look good, that are all dead now. No one's ever heard of them again. They're just dead. That's what happens. So you have to pick narratives. And like, for example, if you got into any AI coin in 2022, you would have made stupid amounts of money. They're all done minimum 30 to 100x minimum. So in the bear market, look for narratives. That's where you'll make the money. Bro, the bear is the best time. You can just pick, you can go shopping and just don't do nothing. Enjoy your life for a year because you've made a decent amount of money in the bull. Enjoy your life, hold solid projects, and then you come back a year later and you've just made 50 or 100x your money if you pick the right coins. But it's going to be fun. When I say moonbagger, like 10% depends. Yeah, look, it depends on the project exactly. Yeah. It does depend on the project. Like I said, if a project has more than a few narratives and those narratives have not pumped yet, then it's okay to leave more moonbag behind because when those narratives do pump, it will pump with that narrative. Walaikum salam, my brother. Love the poll. I hope you're doing good. Just a question. Do I think there will be a 30% pullback before that? No, not 30% pullback. Bitcoin, during that January, February timeframe, it does that 30% pullback, which we kind of already had. That 30% pullback, my friend, is already done. It was, if you go from the top to the bottom of here, it was down. It is 32%. Look. Let me zoom into that. Approximately 31%. So it's already done that pullback you're talking about. It's not going to happen now. This already happened. This happens every single time. It happened in 2020 cycle where, just before we had an alt season, the market pulled back 30%. And this is why I told people, do not panic. This is something that's happened in the past. It's happened 3 cycles now. So why are you panicking now? As if like this time is going to be different. History does not play out exactly the same, but oftentimes rhymes. And this pullback 31%. One of the times we'll pull back like 34. One of the times we'll pull back 32, 33%. This time was 31 from the exact highs. That pullback is done now. What we're going to get now is this like 10, 5, 6, 7% pullbacks, like tiny pullbacks. That's it. Not going to be crazy pullbacks anymore, my friend. That pullback period is done. Anyone who's telling you that is probably just a perma bear, missed the lows, and now they're just, they're gonna don't listen to them. No, not this time around. I don't think we'll have a boring summer this time, is it? That boring summer phase, and this is the selling May and go away does not work post halving year. It works in the after the halving year, it does not work. It normally only works before the halving year. Like 2024 was a good time to do it. Selling May and go away. That's exactly what I did. You should not do it selling May and go away is not every year thing. Because if you sold in May in 2020 in the bull market, you would have just missed the fucking DeFi summer. People were just printing money left, right, and center. You would have missed that. Don't fall for that shit again. It does not work every single year. In 2022 cycle, we had a very big summer as well with market pumped loads. 2023 was dead and 2024 was dead. Does not mean this year is going to be dead. Selling May and go away does not work every single year, bro. We made money. We've made plenty of money, bro. We will continue to make money. Ben Cowan is an idiot. I saw his stuff in the past. No, it depends, bro. Like Ben Cowan has been spot on in 2024 and so far in 2025. Obviously, look, the thing is with Ben Cowan is he only predicts dumps, and the market is likely to dump in the business cycle. So it just makes him look a lot more smarter than what he is. I've never seen him predict a pump ever. Like there was times where we say, yeah, we went to a death cross rally, but that's about it. But he's more bearish than bullish ever. He's always more or less bearish. So then when the market pulls back, it makes him look smart. After a massive pump, so he won't make a video. Like for example, he'll make a video down here is bearish, and then he won't make a video to like up here and say, we're gonna have a pullback. Well, obviously, if you pump this much, you're gonna have some sort of small pullback, and it'll make him look smart. So he does it does it in a smart way. He won't make a video here, here, or here. He'll make it right at the top where it looks like we're having some sort of weakness and we're gonna have a little pullback. That's what he does. But it's 2024, first half of 2025. He's been bang on. I mean, he's been predicting 60% dominance since 2022. So you can't knock the guy. He's been spot on. But even with dominance keep going high, you're gonna get some sort of good alt seasons throughout the way, like mini alt seasons. Yeah, I mean, I can give other projects, but it's like I can just most of them have already pumped. Like you've missed the trades. You get into the trades earlier. But you just asked me the same questions yesterday, bro. I've literally answered your question yesterday. I'm not answering it again. Steve, good to see you, bro. I literally answered. You asked the same question 3 live streams in a row, Phenom, and I answered it yesterday. Archie says tech can't perform because no VCs wants to invest in it. He has a point. Together with based AI, my tech bag accumulated mainly in summer last month's conviction. Should we swap into RDB? To be honest with you, I don't fully agree, but I do agree to some degree. VCs do tend to pump a coin, and he's only saying that because of Sui, and this is where he gets this mixed up. Not every single VC layer 1 pumps. Look at ZK Sync. That's obviously there's layer 2, but there's a bunch of VCs behind that. Look at all the other layer ones. Look at Aptos, backed by massive VCs. Look at C. C has not done as well as Sui. So this concept of it's not going to perform because no VC wants to invest in it, there's some degree to that. But he's comparing everything to Sui. You can't do that. You cannot compare every single coin in the space to something that's like a unicorn. You can't do that. Just because Sui has a bunch of VCs and has done well, I can name you 10 other layer ones that has a bunch of VCs and done nothing. So it does not make sense. What if Sui does well? You can kickstart the layer 1 narrative, and then they all pump, and Tecton will pump because it has a few buzzwords behind it. It has the fastest blockchain, it has the soft nodes, and it has some other shit. So there's some truth to what he's saying, but I just think it's bullshit because you can't. He's just comparing everything to Sui, which doesn't make sense because a bunch of other layer ones have massive VCs behind them. They're not pumping. Very lame call, but if you want to know which people are dust and which are diamonds, just apply pressure on case crypto dumps and see who survives. I do agree with you, to be fair. When the market dumps, you're gonna find out who's actually a gem hunter and who's not, because you're gonna find out who's actually does research in the projects and who doesn't. I've called quite a few projects. None of them are rug pulled. They might be down a little bit, but they're not rug pulled. They're still developing. There's a bunch of projects that have rug pulled, where a bunch of YouTubers have called. Is S2 model already invalid or will it be soon? I have not looked into that part, the SF2 model. I know they've had their SDKs out, but it's just like you have to wait to see if people build on it first. Because if no one builds on it, it's just fucking useless. Appreciate that, Quasar. Why you even listen to Cowan if you got crypto? I mean, look, Ben Cowan's a smart guy, bro. Don't get it twisted. He's a very smart guy. And people oftentimes get this misconception that anyone who speaks about macros is copying Ben Cowan. Is the most retarded shit I've ever heard. Like Ben Cowan speaks, like anyone that understands macros What Ben Cowan says is like tier 3 macros. It's like basic macro knowledge. He's not saying anything that's, whoa, this guy knows a lot of shit. He's just saying the most basic macro knowledge that anyone can acquire. So it's like anyone that speaks macros apparently just copying Ben Cowan. It's the most retarded shit I've ever heard. But that's how stupid some people are, because they don't understand nothing. That they think if you speak any sort of macro knowledge, that you're just copying Ben Cowan. It's stupid shit, bro. Just low IQ comments like that piss me off. What are some good AI RWA coins I can buy now? I mean, those have pumped at all. I mean, look, 100x is not going to happen, Nemo. OORT is definitely one of them. This project right here. Massive backers. Let me show you guys what I mean when I say massive backers. Show you guys. Hold on. Let's see if we can find it. This is what OORT's partnership and ecosystem is basically. They've got all the Harvard, the Dukes, and this is mainly because the CEO is a lecturer in one of these massive universities. I forgot which one it is, but they've also got good VCs behind them. Tatsu's one. They've got Microsoft and Google grants. And the reason, and this is how you verify some of this stuff, right? So you look at the AI agents. Why are the AI agents so good? Well, because they got access to open AI technology, because Microsoft has given them 2 grants now. Google, they've got a partnership with Google, or Google has invested into them, very simply because they're very close to this fucking Kaggle shit, which is, where's it gone? Well, the Kaggle thing I was talking about, that's the biggest data center or data hub on Google, and they get access to that. They're on there, and they've just joined the first team. You look at the institutions behind them, the BNB chain, they're the main storage providers. They got Tencent Cloud, which is one of the biggest companies, AI/GPU companies in Asia. You got Seagate, you got Dow Technologies, you got Lenovo, Appco. Everyone knows about Appco. These are the people that's utilizing them. And then you look at OORT Swap and OORT Earn. These are their own personal products. And you look at the data. They got Space and Time, which just got listed on Binance, just launched. They got Nuclei, they got My Network, they got HyperGPT, and they got Codex. And then they have their own wallet and a bunch of other wallets as well. So you can get on the Big Get wallet, MetaMask. And then on the storage side, they got Filecoin, Storj, IPFS, that's another institution, and then BNB Greenfield. So when you're looking at a project that has not pumped yet, but has massive backings, it has to be up, and it will pump, it will explode. You just have to be a bit patient. 108 here, smash the likes. It does feel good, to be fair, yes. How long does BTC dominance go? The cycle bear market kicks in. Would you? BTC dominance will probably shoot back up in the bear market, but I think mostly USDT dominance will do a lot more, because like once we get stablecoin regulation, which is coming very soon, a lot of these governments want stable coins that want to have access to the stablecoin technology. I don't think dominance is going to be as prominent moving forward as something like USDT dominance. I think USDT dominance or USDC dominance, one of those is going to be a lot bigger than what it was previously, in my personal opinion. I think this might go to like 20% of the peak of the bull run, at the peak of the bear market. And then obviously people are going to go into plow into BTC as well at the lows, and dominance is going to shoot up. But I think stablecoin regulation is going to take a lot of dominance away from BTC dominance. And the people that was calling for a 70 and 72, whatever bullshit they were coming up with, is simply not going to happen in the short term, just because it's not the same as last cycle. Last cycle, no one cared about USDC. People did not trust USDC or USDT. It was a brand new kind of thing. Most people did not trust it because throughout the cycles, it's depegged and it's had moments where it's depegged and it's come down like 50, 60%, and people get scared of that shit. So they just go into BTC. This cycle, stable coins have been very, very decent. We had one depeg in 2023 on the USDC because the bank that was backing them went down and it depegged. But USDT itself has not depegged in a very long time. So, and once regulation comes, people are going to have way more confidence going into stable coins rather than only BTC. That's why I don't really see the 70% happening for like another couple of months minimum. Yeah, but if you get into the right narrative, before everyone does, you will make 50x minimum, bro. What about Soon Chain? Let's have a look. I'll look into it, but has partnered with the Twitter has partnerships after partnerships. Let's have a look into it. Never heard of this one. It looks like a DEX. Sounds like a DEX at least. One of the best coins that just spams partnership left, right, and center is fucking Plume. They've just partnered with the whole fucking the whole crypto space pretty much at this point. What is this, like the DEX for gaming made simple? Okay. Soon Chain is an AI-powered gaming layer 2, redefining developments with AIGG. Nice. Why Soon Chain? Effortless developments, AI agents, fast, affordable. Okay. Seamless, integrated. Yeah, this is not too bad actually overall. Scale for Web3 page games. Deploy. So they got SDK and API. That's good. Tech architecture. Let's have a look. So the dev, native app, native access. So they got the SDKs. They got the little GPU there. They got the engine, and then okay, yeah, this looks pretty good. So they got the soon. So they're on the optimism chain. Testnet, is it out? Doesn't look like it's out. So trusted by big time DChat, Fury, AGIX. I don't think that's the right AGIX though. Creole. Does not look like it has a team. Because in ecosystems now, yeah. It looks like a good DJ coin, to be honest. Why exchanges on Nexi as well. To be fair, I think once gaming takes off, this could do fairly well as an AI gaming coin. Yeah, good shout, my friend. I'm going to add this to the list. Where is it? There's a bunch of shit I need to get the fuck out of this list, but let's just start this fresh. I've not touched this list in like fucking 2 years, but a year and a half. More research, Soon X. Yep. This looks like a good play to get into during a gaming run. This looks like a good play to get into. And because once gaming pumps, we're going to have that sub narrative of AI gaming coins. And this will fit in perfectly with that narrative. And I think it will pump with that narrative as well. So yeah, not a bad shout, my friend. Not a bad shout at all. Keep in mind though, just because they're spamming random partnership with a bunch of shit projects no one's ever heard of, it's not a bullish thing. You want to have partnerships with known projects that provide value. Like if they're just spamming partnership with all these shit coins I've never even heard of, it doesn't mean nothing. So you have to look what the fuck is this Chloro Finance? Is that some never heard of this a day in my life. So if you're just blasting partnerships with a bunch of shit coins, it doesn't really do nothing, to be honest. Yeah, I've never heard of this, but what the fuck is this? Looks like another gaming coin though. Not a bad shout though, my friend Nemo. Not a bad shout. I think this is a good narrative play for the AI gaming one. Yeah, I think yeah, 100%. Nothing goes up, nothing goes up. This was the best lesson for me to learn from you. Yep. Crypto legend. Appreciate that. The only thing that goes down forever, crypto legends, are Ponzi. Is a fucking rug pull. That's what goes up forever. Ponzi's will go up forever, they'll go down forever, and then they'll just rug like Mantra. Mantra's a big Ponzi. It's on base. It looks like this is. I have looked into this before. Financial prediction algorithm neural. Yeah, this looks pretty decent. It's an Oracle. Okay, it's got an Oracle. They got a factory. The core API. So this is an Oracle. This had a pretty sizable dump as well. It has been pumping a decent. Yo, this up like fucking 7x almost. Damn. Not bad though. Not bad at all, my friend. It looks pretty decent overall. It looks like the volume's a bit shit though. It's because there are no exchanges. It looks like not a bad project for like a trade. I feel like we've kind of missed the boat on this, and I don't want to get into it now, just because it's up like over 5x the last month. So I don't want to get into this one. But it looks good though. What's my thoughts on AI tech and C, brother? Cinema. I've been holding AI tech since like one or 2 million in cap. So I've been into this project for a very long time, and I've been bullish on it for a very long time as well. And very likely within the next month or two, you're going to see this on the tier one exchange. Very, very likely, almost guaranteed. It'll be on Binance. The data center is almost finished, if not finished now. And the only thing they got to do now with their data center is very simply put the machines in, which they've already ordered. On top of that, we also have, people don't realize this has a dual deflationary system. So once the data center is set up, and the more transactions happen, you're going to see this burn a bunch of tokens. They're doing a 1 million buyback now. And that's why the price action is so strong right now. $1 million buyback is huge. People don't realize that's a lot of money coming into the project. So, yes, I'm very bullish on this project. I think this will reach it will do at least a 10x from here. That will put it at 65 cents. And look, I've had people call me retarded or some shit because of this coin, because I've been shitting it for such a long time. They don't realize I got into this fucking down here. This is when I got into this shit. So, I'm still up on this, and I've been DCAing this. I missed the lows here, but I got in around like 2.5, 2.3. So I'm still up around just over 2.5x. And I'm still bullish on this. I think this will reach at least 1 to 2 billion in this cycle, at least. Just because I think DP will make a massive comeback. And if you look at AI coins, this is the only coin that has a real life data center. A data center is becoming a narrative. A lot of people, smart investors, are investing into data centers just because of how much is needed in the world. Everything we use needs GPUs. And if you have a data center and you can actually provide GPUs to large institutions and large governments or whatever, it's going to do well. And you will have a bunch of revenue coming in. Ion it makes fucking $12 million a month. I don't know how much of that's profit, but that's how much their revenue is, and that's massive amounts. That just shows how much, demand is there for GPUs. A Web3 project making $12 million a month, that's ridiculous. It's a lot. So, and then, Ion it somewhere like in the top 500-600 coins. So it's not like it's in the top 100 making that amount of money. It's somewhere in the fucking mid 2 to 300s. So, that's pretty impressive. And I think data centers and GPUs and Deepin will wake up this year. And I'm bullish on C as well. I'll hold a big bag of C. I think it'll do well just because we have the same VCs in SUI, in C as well. And the TVL is growing as well. C's TVL continuously grows, which is a good sign. Appreciate that, my friend. I appreciate that a lot, Nemo. AI Tech is not a bad buy, but it's up 3x, bro. Like, I don't know what to tell you when something's up 217% the last 30 days and tell you to buy. I feel like that's a bit dirty to do that. Like, I feel bad telling people to buy. I don't think it's smart to buy now. The thing is smart, but it's not because they're doing their buyback, so it's very unlikely to dump massive amounts. As soon as the tier one listing is done, you can always just buy and wait for the tier one, because it is coming in Q2, so probably in the next month or two. When it comes, yes, it'll be okay to buy. So, I don't think it's a bad time to DCA into it, just based on the stuff that's coming. What do I think about the new market, Internet Capital Market launch coin? Internet Capital Market. I've not looked into this, but I've seen it though. Internet. What is this, Steve? I've seen it on deck screen, and someone in my group shared it at like 2 million. I think it's now like 10 million. So ICMM on deck screen. Which one is it? Because I've seen one. This one, I've seen this launch unbelief. I've seen this. Shit's done stupid numbers, bro. Look at this shit. Went from 5 million or 4 million. It's almost done 100x very quickly. ICM. Let's have a look at ICM. Fuck, it's down 50%, bro. It's a scam. Yeah, it's a scam. This is the guy that was shilling. The guy that was the biggest meme schemer, that D-Frank guy was shilling this. So it's just it's a CT play. I don't like getting CT plays because those motherfuckers get in very early. They buy a big bag and then they shill it, and then they just rug it down. So I don't know about that one. If you're talking about the Believe one, it's just another launchpad, bro. It's just taking the spotlight from Pumpkin at the moment. Is Team Singularity Finance docs? Tips for 7 narratives, AI layer 2, so quite unique, has bottomed out. Maybe start the DC a small amount. I actually hold Ivor. Yes, I'll hold this token. SFI, it is obviously the team is docs, bro. But yeah, it's an AI RWA coin. So like I said, once AI pumps, there's going to be a sub narrative with RWA. There's always going to be that, bro. There's always AI would just be a sub narrative to everything at this point, even RWA somehow. So they're tokenizing DeepIn or GPUs, and they're tokenizing data centers and AI economy. That's what they do. And they're also going to be monetizing AI agents. So this is what this is. And the team is pretty stacked, in my opinion. It is very stacked. Look at the team. I hold a bag of this. This is one that I've not revealed, I don't think, publicly, but I hold a bag of this because I used to like CGV. This is the CEO of CGV. They merged with Ben Gertzel to make this project. So, they are going to get shilled. I mean, if you just look at it recently, they did get shilled by AGIX. So they're pretty much connected to, where's it gone? Yeah, so they're connected to the ASI Alliance. So industry leader, Singularity 5, offers institutional grade AI finance products deployed on ASI, powered by layer 2 infrastructure. So yeah, it's quite unique, I think. It's not a bad time to maybe grab an initial bag. But the only reason I think this is good is because if you look at Pinlink does something similar to this, but obviously on a scammier scale. And they did like 100x, and it's like way higher than this in market cap. I don't see why this does not get at least to Pinlink's market cap, at least once the RWA narrative really takes off. Look at Pinlink. That at the very top, Pinlink was sitting at 273 million market cap. I don't see why this does not do. That's like a 10x from here, pretty much 240. I don't know what the market cap is. I need to ask the team what the market cap is. I've never known. It's a new narrative to finance new business ideas. Is it? Oh, that's interesting. That's actually interesting. New business ideas. Okay. 15% don't like. Maybe there's some secret gay guys here, bro. That's what it looks like. Yo, that's funny, that is. Swarms. I like Swarms, yeah. I do like Swarms. I think Swarms is good overall. It has not pumped as much as some of the other agents, but it does have potential, in my opinion. I think it'll pump. Yeah, it'll pump. Swarm's not bad. It's not bad. Is it going to go back to all-time highs? I'm not too sure. Going back to like 50 cents, very unlikely. Pretty much 50 cents, unlikely. But it might give you a 5-10x from this point on. Anyways, guys, I think we can wrap it up because I do have to go to family house now. So appreciate all of you guys for coming down. I will be live on Friday to do an AMA with Dan, which is the CEO of Sensei. We're going to talk about all the recent developments. You guys can ask your questions to come down, ask your questions. I'm going to be making, I'm most likely going to be, I'll do the setup tomorrow. So you probably guys, the ones where I think you can just wait and watch it, whatever, like put your notifications on or something. So I'll do that. So people are aware a whole day before, rather than, because when I go live, I just go live and then, like people have like 15 minutes to know that I'm going live. With this one, I'm going to set it up like a day before so people know in advance what time to join. So I will do that tomorrow. If you got any questions for Sensei, you can ask it tomorrow. We can, obviously, the CEO will be there. He will answer your questions for you. Will I send my replica? My replica has not been trained enough, but Dan might send his replica to speak to me. That's how good his replica is going to be. Good. Like, These replicas will eventually probably do an AMA with me. Just like, you know, the other one, the one that Banter and them was shilling, the AI agent that was doing AMAs. That's how good replicas will get at some point. You know, where they would literally video proof of the guy's face, you ask the questions and he'll answer your questions for you. That's how good the replicas are aiming to be. And that's why I'm so bullish on Sensei. Because look, the whole point of AI agents is to make your life easier. That's what I think AI agents should be. It's like a personal assistant. And that's what basically Sensei is building. Otherwise, AI agents are fucking useless. No one uses them. You know, like, what's the point? If you have a personal assistant, that's what people like. People will like that in Web 2 as well. You know, someone that answers your emails for you and does specific things, you know, gives you some time. That's phenomenal. I think that would do very well. But on that note, guys, drop a like on your way out. We'll be live on Friday. Appreciate every single one of you. Enjoy the rest of your week. Bye bye.